Hello, everybody. My name is Isana Lashinskaya, and I am a co-producer of the Next Gen Assessment WebBite series with AAC&U. And today I'm joined by Dr. Tammy Cumming and Dr. M. David Miller, the co-hosts of the WebBite series, to share some really exciting news. Dr. Cumming, please take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Asana, and thank you for co-producing an AAC&U. Thank you for co-producing our Next Gen Assessment WebBite series over the past couple of years. So stepping back a little to put our announcement in context, the pandemic hit in March 2020. Now I'm a part of the CUNY system, so I have colleagues in assessment that are surrounding me from all of the different colleges. And so we had a built-in network of support, but it seemed like we even needed more support. Like, how are we gonna do assessment well when we transition to online so quickly? So I was talking to my friend, David Miller, and we were figuring out what could we do to help support on a larger level, on a national level, and maybe do it through video, but not a webinar, because those are too long sometimes. People just have a question about a small topic and they just want to get right to the answer. So we talked about creating a series that we called Web Bites, little bits. So Web Bites. And so then I called up my good friend from AAC&U, Terry Rhodes, and he said, I love this idea. Let's work together. Let's make this happen. We agree with you. Let's do something to support our colleagues through this pandemic as it's emerging. We didn't know how long it would last. So it was originally a temporary, during the pandemic, WebBite series. And then Terry said, you know, AAC&U is kind of known for its blogs. What if we add blogs? So then we had Web Bites and blogs.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I remember very early on, I don't know if you all remember, but Gladys Palma de Schrenemakers was also a participant in that early in that process. And so we had a lot of people doing a lot of different things around here. And I remember the excitement of this because there were so many changes going on in assessment with the pandemic, of course, and this was just an ideal avenue for us to get that information out there to people about some of the things that were going on and some of the important things, both nationally and internationally, with some of our guests that we were able to bring in. And so it was just a great opportunity. And over these 2 years, it's been a lot of fun creating these 23 different web bites throughout this process. And so it's been just great. We've had a lot of fun. I know we've had some series. We've had some focused discussions with some people that have really brought some lots of interest to the topics of how things are going and how things are changing in the world of assessment.
Yeah, it's been a ride. And as what we noticed as we were expanding our domain of interest. So we started off with assessment, and the pandemic is still going, and then we branched out into accreditation. Then we started interviewing people like Ted Mitchell, president of American Council on Ed, starting to get into some policy issues, and with the OECD over in Paris. So it's been really interesting as this has evolved. And so what happened was we thought, we're really enjoying this series. We think people have been enjoying watching the series. We have a large viewership. So we spoke to AAC&U and we asked them, we'd really like to branch out. And we think that it would be possible to go out on our own, because we knew that this was only supposed to be temporary through COVID, but we really found something and we want to continue and expand. We're talking about data governance issues. We're talking about continuing to talk about accreditation and higher ed policy and data-driven decision-making. So I don't know that I've had a favorite interview in all of these. They've all been so interesting and very good.
Yeah, I don't know that I have a favorite either, although I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun when we decided to put together a series with the accreditor's view, and where each of the regional accrediting agencies, presidents and officers of that level spoke about all the things going on in assessment with the pandemic. And so I'm also very excited, of course, with our next series that we're going to be doing. We'll going back once again to the accrediting agencies, because I think they have a lot to offer and to think about in the world of both accreditation and assessment. So there's just lots there to do and think about as we move forward.
Yeah, and we included the Council for Higher Education Accreditation and focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion because of their new DEI standard. So, David, do you want to talk a little bit about what also has been going on with next generation assessment, which is what we're calling our work in general?
Well, I think that there's just a lot of things going on. We've been asked to actually, we've been working on a couple of publications, and some of the things we've been doing have been focusing particularly on the DEI issues. I know that is something that a lot of people have given a lot of thought to, both in assessment and in accreditation. So we've taken that opportunity to do that, and we've been publishing and presenting around about some new work that we're doing with an assessment of institutions with regard to the work that they're doing in those areas. And so that's turning out to be a very large part of a project that we're working on right now.
I know, and that all started thanks again to AAC&U. Remember that conference? I think this got started, my memory is correct, it was March 2021 at the AAC&U Diversity Conference. And for that talk that we did for them, we created an instrument that we wanted to share with others. We thought, well, why don't we share something that we've been working on for our own institutions and see if there was any interest out there in people, giving us feedback. And what we didn't anticipate with the more than 80 attendees at that session was the multiple emails, can we use your instrument? And then we approached Haku and said, you know what, we're going to properly pilot test this. So we approached Haku and AALHE, and gosh, that was a really successful pilot of our DEI instrument assessment. And David, you ran all the psychometrics on this, which is really incredible.
Yeah, and it's looked very good. We've gone through quite a process of looking at both validity and reliability of a number of scales that were developed there, and the reliability estimates were all very, very high. There's a lot of consistency to the work that's being done on those scales, and they're running, if I remember right, 85 and above for each of our, I think 6-7 scales that we have on it, and so that's given us a lot of information, and then the just in terms of the validity, we're getting just lots and lots of incredible people who've stepped up to help us with the review and taking a look at it, and established a lot of content, sort of evidence for the validity work that we've been doing with this. And it's not only the two that helped with the data collection were of course Haku and AALHE, but we've also been involved with others who I think will be very important to this work as we move on, like Nadohi and others, and so there's just, it's a lot of work, but a lot of interesting things going on, and we think there's a real future to what we're doing with that.
Yeah, it's been so exciting, and Kate McConnell from AAC&U has been so supportive of us. So it's very exciting. 183 institutions wanting to, take part in our next phase. And Asana, you want to show our next phase?
Yes, absolutely. So through this whole process, we have developed and launched a next generation assessment website. So the web page is nextgenerationassessment.com. And you are all welcome to come and join us here on this website. We're very excited about it. And yeah, I'd love to, hear a little bit about what Dr. Cumming and Dr. Miller have to say, and of what they're anticipating with this launch.
Yeah, I mean, really, who would have ever thought that, this collaboration between CUNY and University of Florida would end up having something, gosh, similar to the NESI, FESI, or at UCLA. It's just so exciting, so exciting.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been just great having all this support from AAC&U that's sort of through this 2-year process of time where we've thought more and more about how we want to expand this work that we're doing. And we're just very excited about the new directions, and we'll continue to work with AAC&U as well as many of the other agencies as we go along. But we are sort of branching out and taking this on our own for a little bit.
Absolutely. And they did ask us, which was wonderful, that we will direct from our website to AAC&U and vice versa. They'll direct from their site to us. So it's going to be an exciting future moving forward. Put on your tennis shoes, guys, because we're getting ready to run. We've got a lot of things to do.
So I would like to thank everyone for coming to watch the video, and I look forward to you all joining us for our next chapter in the next generation assessment that we're creating. So thank you all.